We're still waiting for any kind of outcome from the Illinois Supreme Court when it comes to the lawsuits that State Representative Dan Caulkins brought out of Macon County. What's going on? When are we going to hear from the Illinois Supreme Court? Still unknown, as you've got, of course, the litigation continuing in the Northern District of Illinois federal courts with consolidated cases from the Southern District and the Northern District. Those briefs are still being filed with arguments going to be made by plaintiffs in a matter of days, and then that'll be heard June 29th. But if you recall, several weeks ago, the Illinois Supreme Court heard the ban on the challenge of the ban of more than 170 different semi-automatic rifles, pistols, shotguns, and magazines over certain capacities with a registry that's supposed to start January 1st. And all of these things, of course, coming to a head as you've got challenges in both federal and state court. So again, you've got the ban on the purchase and possession of these certain weapons, but you also have a grandfather clause that requires you, if you own one of these weapons, these firearms, then you have to register by January 1st, 2024, if this measure is not struck down. So a lot of people anxiously awaiting, as we see the year coming to the mid part of the calendar with just about 6 months or so remaining before that deadline of January 1st. Well, I connected with State Representative Dan Caulkins yesterday. We talked about a variety of things, but I had to get his take of where we're at right now in the Illinois Supreme Court hearing and debating internally and taking under advisement, as they say, the case that he brought out of Macon County challenging equal protections and special legislation, saying that you can't have, the fundamental constitutional Second Amendment rights for some, like law enforcement or, those in the security space or prison wardens, but not having the Second Amendment for others, regular citizens of Illinois. So Caulkins joined me just briefly yesterday. We talked a bit, and he provided a bit of an update.
No, we haven't. We haven't heard. I haven't talked to Jerry Stocks, our attorney, in a couple of weeks. We thought, we would hear something in June. Still have a couple of weeks left in June to see what happens. There's some speculation that the Illinois Supreme Court will hold off issuing their opinion, waiting to see what the federal court system, the Seventh Circuit, and then the U.S. Supreme Court have to say about this law. That would alleviate some of their problems if there's a decision made, on the federal side. But they owe it to us. I mean, we spent a lot of time, a lot of money, filing this claim, going after the state of Illinois for the unconstitutional part of equal protection in this law, and they owe us a decision. And I think it's unfortunate if they're going to sit on their hands until they see what some other court's going to do.
So it's State Representative Dan Caulkins kind of having some speculation as to the delay of getting a ruling from the Illinois Supreme Court on his challenge of the state's gun and magazine ban. And we also talked a bit about the measure that passed that limits the venue that citizens can take constitutional challenges to court. If you recall, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed that measure that says you can only file in 2 of 102 counties across the state. And that would be Sangamon County or Cook County, not down in Effingham County, not in Macon County as Caulkins has, or in Madison County as even Attorney Thomas Magg has, challenging constitutional laws, or White County or Crawford County. So what's Caulkins's take on this law, and what's ultimately this going to mean for those citizens out there that want to challenge constitutional measures, whether laws violate that?
Well, in your show, from 3 or 4 days ago, covered this issue very, very well. And this is a violation of the constitutional rights of people in Illinois to pursue remedies in their nearest court. Jay Hoffman ought to have his law license removed for running this bill. He knows full well that this violates the Illinois Constitution, and But I just don't know how bad it is. I really to have your credibility questioned on some of these unconstitutional and terrible laws and terrible bills that Jay Hoffman is forced to run, or maybe he enjoys it. I don't know. But this is blatantly unconstitutional, as you've had two lawyers on your show say, and it is an attempt to manipulate the justice system, by this administration who they don't want to be subject to the United States or the Illinois Constitution if it interferes with their agenda. It's terrible law, and I'm sure it's going to be challenged, and I feel very confident that it will be overturned. It's just, you sit there and watch these bills that Jay Hoffman carries, and I just shake my head. He's either, I don't know. I would think I think he's a lot smarter than that. I just don't know why he's forced to do what he's doing.
So again, that's State Representative Dan Caulkins. A brief conversation I had with him about the status of his case in the Illinois Supreme Court, challenging Illinois' gun and magazine ban, but also his reaction to that venue limiting bill that is now law, only allowing for citizens to file lawsuits against the constitutionality of state laws in Sangamon or Cook County, not in their backyard home county court, where typically, issues of controversy are dealt with by the judiciary. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for everybody tuning in. And if you need to follow me elsewhere, you could do it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Bishop on Air, and we can connect and communicate that way as well.